Hi, and welcome back to On Track Tips. My name is Jason Weiser, and you're listening to Get On Track, Stay on Track, and we're helping your small business one expert at a time. And this week, we've got a couple of experts here. And what's the expertise? Business success. I love sharing case studies. I love, On Track Tips here, we're always giving you these tips and ideas from the experts on how to make your business do better, all these tips and strategies. We target things like email marketing and social media and branding. And you know what? It's so cool. This episode, we get to actually hear about this full process. We get to hear about team management and what tools maybe that the Circloscope team use. What do they do to coordinate their efforts, go from a vision until success? And anybody that's listened to On Track Tips, you know that what we say start with your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish in your business? What is your dream? What is your vision? And define that. Then the next thing you need to do is define a success metric. I had one time a guy tell me that when I asked him, what's your success metric? He said, well, I'm building my Facebook page because I want to get as many people to follow me as possible. And I told him, you're never going to succeed. It's not a success metric. You can't monitor that. You can't judge proximity, meaning he can never reach as many as possible. Pick a number. How many people? 10, 20, 100, or 1,000. And so today we're going to hear how Circloscope team has established their product. They've defined it. They've created it. They developed it. And they set what is the point at which we can say we're successful. We did it. And they can say that. So without too much more, I want to introduce, of course, Christine DeGraff and Craig Fifield to the show. They're both co-owners, or co-founders, they're calling themselves, at Circloscope. Unfortunately, we don't have Ashen with us, who is the third member. And Christine, tell us just very quickly a little bit about Circloscope team members. What are your roles and who are you? So what is your role at Circloscope?
Currently, yes, we are all calling ourselves co-founders, but we do have kind of defined roles. Esham obviously is the developer, and we tried to free his time up so that he can develop. And that was one of the first things we realized is we need to get this man freed up and let him develop this tool. My role pre-launch is a lot of bug for the past several months testing, bug tracking, managing our beta test community, and just basically trying to handle all of the current customers and support requests that we had. My role now that we're launched is going to be a lot more promotions, and a lot of customer support, a lot of training. I'll let Craig tell about his role, but Craig is a former product manager for Microsoft. So he, definitely has taken on a lot of the role of the direction of the product, and he's kind of, he'll say he's the boss. I say he's definitely bossy, but I will admit that Esham and I kind of defer to his experience and kind of let him have the final say on a lot of things. And Craig, I did mute you, so you need to unmute.
Oh, cool. Was I typing?
Yes.
I'm so good at that. Yeah, so my role it's kind of an informal product manager, I suppose. It's very similar to the role that I had at Microsoft for 10 years, where I built a lot of different web marketing tools for small business. So I'm using a lot of that experience to guide the direction of the product, help with the UI on the product, and I have a lot of background in marketing these types of products as well, which is coming into play. We're all kind of wearing, we trade hats almost all the time, so
yes.
With a small organization, it's pretty loose.
Of course, I'm leveraging my Google Plus following is so leading kind of the social media efforts here on Google Plus. I think we might be lacking a little on Facebook because I don't log in there too often. So. But,
well, all right. So I want to break this down into some. I really want to walk us through this process. Like I said, I think it's just so exciting. I remember, Christine, you were the very first guest at On Track Tips, and you had talked about how to monetize your social media. And after the show, you had kind of coyly or shyly said, well, I don't even really know that I'm monetizing quite to the extent that I should be. And now if I were to ask you, are you monetizing social media, Christine DeGraff?
Yes.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, and my
That's
background is a service background, web developer for 17 years, and about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I decided I had no more hours to sell, none. And I realized I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted, I have internet marketing experience, and I've made money over the years on, AdSense through websites and selling advertising and stuff. But I just dove into Google Plus, started seeing the potential here, and just was waiting, for an opportunity. And when I met Esham, I was already using Circloscope. I loved it. I was managing my circles with it. And I just started giving him some advice. He had asked at one point for people to give feedback and, feature requests. And I noticed that, he was, one-man show that was doing a great job, but, I could see some flaws. I could see that he was a very a yes person, wanted to please everybody and put in every feature request, whether it made sense or not. He had it priced at a point that was going to put him out of business, that was going to make his life miserable. And I knew that one of the things I had been thinking is I want to sell a product, not my hours. I could deal with selling a product, and so when the opportunity came for me to get involved, I jumped.
That's exciting. And
for those I'm a no person, if anybody's wondering.
Yes, he is a no person. I'm a lot of a yes person too. So, so Craig definitely is the voice of the no. So if a feature gets nixed, it's his fault.
Let me jump in here, guys, real quickly. I got to do a little bit of housekeeping here for our listeners. We definitely want you to head on over to Twitter. You know that we use the hashtag #OnTrackTips over there. And today's Twitter question is, are you using Circloscope? Have you seen it or have you not used it? And so I want you to go ahead and just tweet using the hashtag OnTrackTips. Say, yes, I use Circloscope, or no, I'm learning how to use Circloscope, whichever it is that you want to do. So I'm going to be watching our stream on Track Tips, and I expect to see a number of people telling us where you are with that.
If they're not using it, they should go get the free version, circloscope.com/free.
Okay, so Craig, if you can, go ahead and type a tweet into the comment right there, and let us know. And maybe since Craig's generous enough to give you the free, or tell you where that free version is, share that out. Let other people know. Hey, here's the free version of Circloscope. All right, and we're going to have a little bit of a special offer near the end of the show, so you got to stick around and keep asking questions, and I'm confident that the Circloscope team is going to make you very happy for sticking around to the end of the show to hear what they have to offer us.
Oh, so, I already posted that, Jason. Sorry.
You did? Oh, all right. Well, then
in the comments.
Ah, there we go. All right. Well, then we'll tell you about it near the end of the show. That's all right. That's cool. All right. So I want to start then, really kind of from the beginning. Circloscope initially was an app that Esham had developed all on himself. He was a one-man band. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was selling for how much?
$5 lifetime.
Right, $5 lifetime, and so it was about where he was at a point where he wasn't able to keep up with it. It was going to be canceled. Christine, you jumped in, and you guys redefined a whole business model when you came in there. Now, the first thing I want to make sure to let all of our listeners understand that if you're building a small business, I hear a lot of our consulting clients, they're concentrated a lot on their Facebook and their Google Plus and their marketing and their Twitter, but they don't have a product. So right now I want to ask yourself, do you have a product? Do you have something that you can justify all of this social media activity? If you don't have a product, develop your product. Slow down on social media and really focus in on creating that product so that then you have something to market and use all of this, folding all of these efforts back into one goal, from your goal to your success metric. All right, so what was your goal when you started out, Christine and Esham?
Well, my goal was definitely, I wanted a product. I wanted to build a business around a product that I really believed in, and that was key. It had to be something that I could shout from the rooftops and think, this is a great product, I stand behind it. And, even though before, we relaunched, the tool was difficult to use, it was still very useful, and I was using it. And I was shouting from the rooftops about it before I was even involved. So that's a product that, I definitely wanted to get behind. And I mean, at this point, with the whole new, the relaunch of it and all the new features and how easy it is to use, and the fact that we now have a free version again, I mean, I can't stop shouting about it.
So your goal was to take an existing product, redevelop it, redefine it, remarket it, rebrand it. There was a lot that went in, redevelop it, right, Craig, that you got brought in to do some extra development, launch it, and sell it. And so then at what point would you say, okay, when you first started out, you said, okay, this journey, we're going to be successful when we've done what? What was your success metric?
I think we were actually successful really early on. So this, Circloscope wasn't well known, but it was really well known within, the power players on Google+. And as soon as we changed the price, we increased the price so that we could afford to support it and to develop the future version. Once we made that change, that was one of the first things we did, because it was the simplest thing to kind of give us a metric, I guess a success metric, to see if how hard we should push it or if we were going to be able to go forward. Literally, we changed the price and sales just basically increased.
Did you
so
say
as soon as we saw that, it was...
I'm sorry, Craig. Did you say at any point we want to have X number of dollars, or we want to sell X number of widgets, or did you set any sort of a number or a goal?
The only number that we've had specifically so far was for launch day, and for sales on launch, yesterday we doubled the sales that we thought we would have. So that was the most specific metric that we've had.
Yeah, that's what I was talking with Christine yesterday about when we were coming up with some information for the show. She said, yes, I've definitely reached my success metric and surpassed it, right? Yes. So now we're at a place where we've reached a new success metric. So now we have to define the next step. So what do you think that next metric is going to be?
Well, I think before we do the next metric is we want to maintain this metric. Make sure that it is realistic and that we can maintain at this metric before we say it's definitely that we've reached it. Just reaching it on the first day or so doesn't mean it's going to sustain.
Right.
We definitely believe that it will, and once we see that, then yes, we will set a higher goal.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So then what are your day-to-day efforts right now? Is what, just maintaining what you have?
Right now it's trying to keep up with launch. So I don't know if you've launched a software product before, but usually I'm a little bit used to Microsoft, where even there it becomes like this crazy process at the last minute where you realize all these loose ends are out there and fires are burning. We're still dealing with all that right now. And with a three-person team with one of them missing, that's a little difficult. So for the next week or two, that's what we'll be dealing with. And then I think for our next steps, we'll start organizing the new features. So there's a lot of new features that were brought up by the beta community, the beta testers, and some of the current users of the new product that we'll start prioritizing and looking to see when we can add those in.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, even though we are doing some shows and we've, put out an announcement, I mean, we are not yet what I would call marketing this product. We're not blogging yet. We're not actively marketing this product yet. We are right now, Craig is mostly, tying up loose ends, and I'm trying to keep up with support tickets, people that are, upgrading during launch and, trying to keep on top of keeping everybody happy. A lot of our marketing that's been going on, because I know, there is kind of an explosion of activity, and it's mostly just users who are like, wow, we love this.
Right.
So they're sharing.
I think that's really key if people are interested in the marketing plan, is we'll do some regular marketing stuff as we have more time. But the core of our marketing plan is really word of mouth. And the core of that is the free product. So the free product is completely full-featured, which is just incredible what you can do with that tool for free. And the idea is by people getting that such a value for free, and then if they want to upgrade for the $47, it's so inexpensive, especially the free, that it creates a lot of evangelism. People, if you come onto Google Plus and you're new and you can't clean your circles, someone's going to tell you that, oh, just go get Circloscope. So that word of mouth should pay for itself in droves.
Let's go back a little bit further. Okay, so you saw the product, Christine. You started. You saw that you wanted to be a bit behind this, and then at some point you brought in Craig, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you manage those kinds of preliminary communications? Let's talk really quickly. Like, what were some tools, or how do you manage a team when you guys are in all these different locations? Just throw out some tools. We don't need to go into real detailed process, but just what are some things that really helped you guys? I mean, where's Eshin?
He's in Iran, and you're going to love this. Craig and I have never spoken to him. It's all been through Hangout chat, you know, and the different, you know, project management sites that we're using. We have not yet spoken to him. We love him, though. Craig and I do meet on a regular basis through Hangouts. So Google Plus and, you know, Google Drive have been key. We did start a lot at first. We wanted to start all our communications in a private community, and we weren't able to organize it the way that we wanted. So Craig did find, I forget what it's called. What is it?
It's called FreeCamp. It's just a free product management solution.
So yeah, we started using FreeCamp, and then we also we needed something to track bugs. And what are we using for that one?
That's called JetBrain.
JetBrain.
I'm not sure I'd recommend that. It's a powerful tool, but and it was useful for us. But just in case anyone's thinking it's a flat-out recommendation.
But that's a development tool?
It's a bug tracking tool.
Okay. So yeah, we're doing. I'm in the process right now too of looking at some different tools. We've looked at Basecamp. We've looked at Asana. We've looked at Zoho. And jury's still out. I'd be interested to hear from our people that are listening right now. What content or what communications system do you guys use that you really like and can recommend? That would be really interesting for us to hear. And frankly, one of my favorites is Google Docs. It's so easy to just bullet point this stuff down there, and Google Docs integrate with any of the others. You can integrate it into Asana. You can integrate it into Basecamp. It's really easy.
I enjoy FreeCamp. I like the price. It's free, and for what it provides for free, it does all the things that I would need, you know, in terms of discussions, to-do lists, all that stuff.
As far as support tickets, you know, we do have a community here on Google Plus, but again, we figured we needed a more systematic approach, so we are using Zendesk now for our support. So we can have a ticketing system and be able to track things a lot better. We have a knowledge base that we're starting, so as you know, we get the same questions over and over, we'll be able to point them to the right answers. And the goal is that, you know, eventually we'll be able to, as co-founders, we'll be able to remove ourselves from the support and be able to hire someone in that role.
Yeah, we hear a lot of times, in fact, we were talking about with James Wedmore just a little while ago. Now, he's, of course, in information products, and this would be more of a tool or a software, but I think it's kind of the same thing. You build or you sell it first, and then you build it. Now, of course, Eshin had it already sold and kind of built, and you really kind of had to just improve upon that process. But I know that being that you have your beta community, and I'm sure that you guys probably leaned very heavily on that community to tell you, what do you want this product to be? Tell us a little bit about how much of an influence did your community have on the development and the direction of your product?
I'd say it had a lot of, and even before we started the beta community, Eshin had already, you know, put out the question to everyone, what features do you want? And we had a huge list of features. So what we did is, between the three of us, you know, we went through it and we wanted to focus on the things that were going to help the most people and be the most useful and do them well. And then we can circle back, you know, later to get some of the features that maybe only a smaller group of people might need. Well, we wanted to focus in on the important ones.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think what's really key there is we're both marketers at heart and users of the tool. So if you're really using your own tool, it makes it really easy to know that, oh yeah, this would be a good feature, or why doesn't it do this, or, you know, why does this break? And should, it makes it really clear what's important and what's not.
And there were a couple key people in our group that we really listened to what they needed and thought were important features.
Yeah.
In terms of marketing, and we're really kind of getting close to the end here, and I know that marketing is really one of the biggest points. People love to hear about marketing, social media marketing, email marketing. So just kind of in a fire hose or lightning kind of question, you of course use social media. We'll get to that in a minute. But are you using any email marketing for the product?
Yes. What he says no, I say yes.
Not really. Not yet.
Well, not yet. One of the first things that I did when I got involved, even before Craig got involved, is I actually put up a launch rocket homepage and just put a big email here. Put in your email. We'll let you know when we launch. That's going out today, and we did get thousands of sign-ups from that. So we have a really nice list that we're going to be sending out to. And then what we'll likely do is use a campaign to the people who look at it but don't purchase, or who maybe get the free version and want to upgrade. So we will plan a campaign, but we don't have one yet.
Do you have email marketing integrated into the software somehow? So when I click subscribe, do I have to get the free tool? Do I have to give you my email, or do I have to sign up somehow?
No.
Not right now. No.
Do you plan on doing that?
We've thought about it. I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think there's tons of value there, but I also think that we have such good word of mouth now that if we just keep that going, we don't need to put that list in their face. We can just let them go and get the product.
Well, I asked
another thing we could do with the marketing is, when they log in, if they haven't purchased, we can put messages to them on the product. Of course, that doesn't help if they don't log in, but just a thought.
Well, I asked because you guys are doing such a great job, but I'm concerned about the scale. Like, where are you going to go with this thing? Where, at some point, are you going to consider paid traffic? At some point, word of mouth is going to be exhausted. You're going to have talked to every friend, family, all of your followers, even though you have insane amount of followers, Christine. I think at some point, people are going to be like, okay, enough Circloscope. You're going to have to go somewhere else, right?
Well, we do have.
No, I don't really mean it that way. I mean it's all everybody else talking about it, not necessarily us. We've actually done very little talking about Circloscope so far. We're just getting warmed up to do some of our own. But I think with the free version, by having the community involved with the product, through beta and even before beta, that is extending. I heard about Circloscope before I was even part of the team because the influencers really liked it. That's just growing and growing and growing. So it's not necessarily going to be us talking about it. It's everyone else.
Yeah, I think you'll see lots of write-ups about it on the larger blog sites, and it'll be included in lists of Google Plus tools. I think you're going to see a lot of people doing training videos, tutorials. We do have a limited partner program, and some of those people are creating training videos and tutorials and programs, and even help outs, Google help outs to teach people how to use it. So I think that it's going to.
We'll probably also do AdWords remarketing campaign at some point too.
Give us a. You don't have to give it to me now. I'll ask you another question, but I want you to prepare a question. If you were asked, what was one thing that you really learned through this whole process of building and launching your product? What's one thing that you would tell all the On Track Tips listeners right now? When you build your product, do this thing. Make sure that you think or do this thing. Either one of you guys have your answer right now?
Yeah.
Craig?
Involve your community right away and don't worry about perfection. You just got to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I would say don't give a date of launch until you know the date of launch.
Yes. Don't give any dates, especially if you're doing this, Christine.
I kept doing that. I kept giving a date, and I thought that I was doing it pretty far in advance too, but it missed the mark by like 6 months. So, and then, well, I finally did give the date of June 17th about a month ago, and Craig's like, why'd you do that again? And I'm like, look, we're going to launch, and I don't care if we're ready or not. It's time to go.
Yeah.
Tell us.
The flip side of that is Christine's actually helped me move forward and not worry so much about perfection because she's always setting dates and pushing us.
Tell us a little bit about how are you managing your payments? Companies are going to want to know. You guys have separate payment accounts. I mean, how did you determine that you're going to trust Christine, Craig, to handle the money, or Christine trusts Craig to handle the money? How did you determine that?
Right now,
we're just trusting.
It is a trust thing. We do all have access to the account, but it's under my name, and right now it is a trust thing. I'm sure that we're going to need to put some more checks and balances in place, as we sell millions of these.
Did you do any preliminary legal things at all right now, or is it trust?
That's actually one of our next biggest items. Is we have to organize, officially as a company.
Well, I've talked with a lot of, we get a lot of small business owners and bootstrapping guys. It's important to do this, but I tell you what, you gotta go out there and just try it, right? And you've got to. Yep. There's something about that trust factor. It's really important.
I mean, maybe we would have launched and somehow it would have been an immediate flop. We wouldn't have really done us any good to have all our company stuff in order.
That's right. Great advice.
I'm still, I've been for a long time kind of a shake on it kind of person. And yes, I've been burned, and it happens. But I haven't lost trust in people, and
And I think both of us were also in it for the experience. At least I am much more than any income or the business itself. I just wanted to do it because I thought the product was pretty cool and it fit really well with the stage of my career. So it's like if Christine steals everything, so what? I still had a good time and made a cool product.
Well, that's huge, actually, Craig. I go into a lot of my projects the same way, as justifying, say, hey, this is a learning experience, and I could go and I could pay for this course in college, or I could go hire a coach or a consultant, or I could just team up with an all-star like Craig Fifield or Christine DeGraff, and we can get into this thing, get our hands dirty, and see where we go from there.
Yeah, I refer to that all the time as getting paid to go to school.
Getting paid to go to school. Yeah, that's right. So go and get paid to go to school. Lots of great quotes from you guys. Hey, let's go through and acknowledge some of our people in the audience. Of course, Lanny Sullivan. We all love Lanny Sullivan. Christina Graff. Amen. No more trading hours for dollars. I think that's something that we all, we talk about that a lot. So congratulations on.
Lady has she has lots of tutorials already, so she's definitely one to look at for help with Circloscope if you need help.
And we want to say special thanks to Joe Ray, through your faves, discussing one of your favorite tools here in the front row. Joe Ray, it's so good to see you here today, man. We want to remind, I'm going to pull this up on the screen so it's burned into the YouTube, even though it may not be available after this. So this is going to be a limited offer. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, then you just need to go and connect. The offer probably won't be there, but there's your 25% offer on track tips. Oh, I love the branded offer. Thank you, guys. That's really great. Thank you for coming on to your show. Thank you for sharing your success story about I wish we had more time to really get into the nuts and bolts of it. I know people would love to hear more about the tools and the processes and the marketing. And I mean, there's just so much to it. It's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of this and to watch what you guys have done and watch how it's unfolded. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's been here, that's been listening. I want to encourage you all to head on over to where?
Circloscope.com.
Circloscope. You've got your own website. You'll find it, and that'll take you to the App Store, the extension, right, in Google, so you can add it to your Chrome.
Yeah, well, you can go to circloscope.com/free to get the free extension. You can go to circloscope.com to get the full price extension, or right now you can go to circloscope.com/ontracktips to get it 25% off.
Awesome. And so I want to make sure that everybody that's listening, do Circloscope the favor, and let's help these guys out. Let's jump on this word of mouth marketing machine and help out our good friends. I guarantee that everybody on this show has gotten some benefit from Christine DeGraff and Craig Fifield in your time here on Google+. And if you haven't ever gotten any benefit from them, well then you're an idiot. That's it. You're just an idiot, right? Because you have. So go ahead and tweet this out for them. Tweet it, share it, plus it, like it, do whatever you can to help join this word of mouth movement. Help this small business succeed, right? Help them take them to the next level. Thank you for being here. You guys are all listening to Get on Track, Stay on Track. We're helping your small business one expert at a time. We did a case study today about success metric. Thank you so much. Christine DeGraff, Craig Fifield, Circloscope, and we're all going to wave and say bye-bye.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason.